I've got Heidi Hautala. She is a member of parliament in Finland, from Finland in the European Parliament. Thank you. Please join me in the Spotlight studio. All right. So welcome to the Spotlight studio.
Thank you very much.
You may know, Spotlight is an EU-funded initiative to eliminate violence against women and girls. We take a very broad approach to addressing this issue, and we're interviewing quite a wide number of key actors to help us in the fight. Despite the fact that the EU is investing 500 million euros in this, we know it's a drop in the bucket, and we know that historically financing gender equality programming is abysmal. Tell me a little bit about your thoughts on this financing gap, what's behind it, and what we can do to address it.
I think it was very important that the European Union reacted quickly when the Trump administration decided to ban any kind of information and services relating to abortion, which actually restricts and reduces many other health services in developing countries aimed at the poorest women and girls. And so, of course, the European Union had to say no, and the way the European Union said no is investing 500 million, which I think is really appropriate.
Thank you. So one of the core principles of the Sustainable Development Goals, which the Spotlight initiative is part of, is this idea of leaving no one behind. And I know that you have been following some of UNFPA's work with the Rohingya refugee crisis in Bangladesh and some of the ways that we see that women and girls are particularly marginalized.
Yeah.
So tell me what Spotlight can do, or what you think we as citizens can do to pay more attention to those furthest left behind by traditional development programming.
Yeah, you raised a very topical, tragic issue, because what we know is that there are close to 50,000 women and girls who are giving birth just these weeks because they have been object of rape by Myanmar security troops. And this is an example where these victims deserve all the help, all the services and all the care for the mother and the baby, that they can overcome physical difficulties, but also the trauma that this kind of terrible weapon of war has caused to them. So one of the things that I've been doing is that I convinced the European Commission that we should do a pilot project on how we can best help women and girl victims of sexual violence in conflict. And I hope that we will be able to find the best practices, because we have to do something about these terrible situations. And we, of course, also have to look at the international criminal law, that we have the most stringent possible criminalization and declaration for war crime of this kind of activities. So we have these victims, and we need to act.
It's so important. One of the things that we realize about the Sustainable Development Goals is that we can't get it wrong this time. We have to really invest, and we need to do things differently. And Spotlight, as a SDG model fund, is investing quite heavily in this idea of innovation. What does that conceptually mean to you in terms of the SDGs, and how would you, any guidance for Spotlight?
Well, innovation in Spotlight can, for instance, be to train youth champions in developing countries, which talk to young audiences about the need of sexuality education, which is really key. We need to make young people understand what it means to become sexually mature and to avoid dangers. We also need to address the so-called harmful cultural practices. We need to make sure that by 2030, which is the target year of the Sustainable Development Goals, that we have eradicated female genital mutilation, and we have made every girl and woman aware of their rights in this respect.
Thank you so much for your time. Very grateful for your guidance and insight and the way you're championing this issue in Parliament. Thank you.
Thank you very much and good luck.